Okay, welcome back, Utah. We've got a special honor for first responders of 9/11 through a really cool 5K. So thousands came out on Sunday for the annual Tunnel to Towers 5K run and walk in New York City. So this has been happening almost every year since 9/11, so 20 years now. And this run follows the route of a first responder on that day. So Stephen Siller, who was off duty September 11th, grabbed his gear and ran from Brooklyn through the Battery Tunnel, so that's under the East River, to the Twin Towers, more than 5 miles.
Isn't that wild?
It is pretty wild.
That shows you the level of dedication he had to be able to, like, recognizing I need to help and I can get there and I'm going to run as far as I need to go.
So now every year, like you're seeing here, thousands of people gather and run his same route. So they do a little bit of a condensed version, but his same route that he walked. You can see some crew members there in their full fatigues. And this run now has raised, his family has done this every year. They've raised more than $250 million for first responders. So cool. Talk about a legacy.
I love what it's turned into.
Yeah, and that's just the perfect way to honor that hero right there.
Yeah. It's got to just make it, for kids, you know, that maybe were too young at the time to really remember, being able to walk that route, just because it's got to make it really real.
From a hero to a herd of goats. They got on the loose in Georgia. Check out this video yesterday in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Now what's crazy...
This is so many goats.
Oh yeah. This is no accident either. Atlanta was using the goats to clear out unwanted brush.
No.
The problem is the goats had a mind of their own.
They're like,
you want us to go eat this stuff? No, we want to go over here.
Actually, this looks good.
This looks a lot better than what you wanted us to eat.
What are the chances every time you hear them, they're just yelling, freedom?
Yes.
Right? So look at this grass. It looks like great grass to me. So it took them several hours, but they got all those goats in the right place where they needed to be. That's just one of those the unintended consequences of using goats to clean out things you don't want.
I mean, it's smart, right? It's like the efficient way to do it.
It could be, until it takes you hours to clean up after the goats when they run amok.
Yeah, hilarious. Okay, this is a really sweet story about a World War II veteran and a current service member. So 12 years ago, a third grader named Deshauna Priest wrote a letter to a World War II vet, Frank Grasberger. Got that letter, and he sent her a letter back. 12 years later, a woman at Frank's nursing home tracked down Deshauna, found out they lived within an hour together, and you're seeing Deshauna and Frank here. They got to meet up, and now they're just fast friends. Frank calls her a third daughter.
That is awesome.
And it turns out that that third grader ended up joining the military, so she is she's a National Guard member.
So he had a big impact on her life and her career.
They only exchanged one letter, but they each kept their letters for the last 12 years, and so they both had them physically. They were able to show them to each other, and now they're just good friends. Deshauna, excuse me, is actually scheduled to come back and see Frank, and they do a pinning ceremony at his nursing home, and she's going to be giving him his pin. Just so cute.
Well, it shows you how much it meant to both of them to hold on to that letter as long as they did. All right, it's birthday time. We have a celebrity birthday today. It's singer Hilary Duff's birthday.
Hilary Duff.
Yep. Former Disney star turns 33 today. Probably best known as Lizzie McGuire back in the early 2000s.
Are made of.
Oh, no, if you know the
Oh
sing,
man, I was the demographic for Hilary Duff. Lizzie McGuire is so good.
Did you see Cheaper by the Dozen?
Of course.
Yep,
of course.
she was in that.
All of them.
Maybe wish Hilary Duff a happy birthday today, or sing it to her, as Sarah may do. But more importantly, if it's your birthday, hey, maybe you share a birthday with Hilary Duff. Let us know. Email us your photos to news@abc4.com. Put in the subject "baby birthday," and we'll talk about your birthday right here on TV.
How's the weather today, Thomas?
Well, the weather is going to see some pretty drastic changes. We've got a cold front moving through, but of course, during this time of the morning, we always like to show you some photos.
Oh my gosh.
And we got more.
Now, where is this?
This is in Fish Lake.
Oh, wonderful.
So this is in the central half of the state, and that's just beautiful. And as I've been saying, with the yellow, the aspens are going to aspen. It's just beautiful. But on top of that, yesterday, we also got some rain in the southern half of the state.
Double rainbow!
There you go. Judy Keel sent this in from Kanab.
How old is that YouTube video?
I don't know.
Double rainbow.
I was just excited about the double rainbow, Brian. I was not
you're
referencing a video.
You're not you don't know the double rainbow?
No, apparently not.
Oh, people at home have to know the double rainbow.
Of course. Who doesn't know the double rainbow?
Double rainbow
I'll
video.
educate myself. I apologize.
For those of you who are also wondering, what do you mean double rainbow? There's a video where someone gets so amped up about this double rainbow, it's now had a life of its own.
That sounds joyful.
And then yesterday, in the northern half of the state, in Roy, Keith Vaught sent this in, and this is just because we had the smoke yesterday, but when you have a smoky sky, it makes for a beautiful sunrise and sunset. In the meantime, things are relatively quiet out there, but again, we are going to see some changes as we go through today. Got a cold front sitting off just to our northwest, and that means a daytime high of 70 degrees in Salt Lake City. Isolated thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Meanwhile, St. George, a daytime high of 85 degrees, and then by tomorrow morning, sweater weather, Sarah. Temperatures will be in the middle 40s.
Go ahead.
Resist.
What do you mean? Do what?
Sweater weather.
There you go.
It's
Sweater weather.
impossible.
And
Why not?
Yeah.
It's my one time. Okay, I'm done.
There we go. As we check your traffic, no accidents out there to report early this morning, and your drive times are looking good. If you want to take your weather with you on the go, especially with all the changes that we're going to find over the next 24 hours, make sure that you download the Pinpoint Weather App. You can go to the App Store or Google Play. It's free. It's a great tool to have. Or just scan the QR code right there on your screen.
While you're unpacking your sweaters today, it's September 28th. We've got some national days for you today. National Strawberry Cream Pie Day. Just hold on to summer just a little later.
That feels like very strawberry
Fields.
pie. Yeah.
It does. Also, National Drinks and Beer Day, National Good Neighbor Day. Maybe a good excuse to have some beer tonight with your neighbor, meet them, say hello.
Have a beer with your neighbor.
Seems like that
Exactly.
coincides very well.
Yeah. National North Carolina Day, random, and then National Voter Registration Day. This is an important day. Get registered. If you've got teenagers in your life, somebody that just turned 18, important day.
Especially with all the controversy over voting as it is as of lately.
Right. Utah does it well. We do it great. So get registered.
Do your civic duty.
5:56 at the time. We'll have your top story for Good Morning Utah at 6, right after this. Now on GMU at 6, a woman shot in South Jordan leads to a car crash. We share what police are trying to piece together from overnight. And
all people, it had to be him. Like, it wasn't his coming, so.
wasn't his time to go. Friends and family of Aaron Lowe open up about his tragic and untimely death.
And then the President and First Lady received their COVID booster shots. Hear the message for Americans still yet to get their first dose.
And it's a mild start to this Tuesday morning, but a cold front will bring some pretty big changes by the time we get towards this afternoon. We'll be talking about it on Good Morning Utah that begins right now.
Live, we're there for you. Good Morning Utah at 6 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Sarah Martin. It is 6 a.m. on this Tuesday.
And breaking overnight, police are trying to figure out what happened to a woman in South Jordan who got shot and then crashed her car. Police got calls about a gunshot last night near 104 South and 22nd West. They then heard about a car crash in the same area. They arrived at the crash and found a woman had been shot twice. She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police think the shooting then led to her crashing into another car. 2 people in that car walked away with no injuries, and right now police are looking for a third car that may belong to the shooter.
Units were here within about 4 minutes. And unfortunately, we weren't able to locate a shooter vehicle. We still haven't been able to talk to our victim directly, so we're hoping to get that information.
Now, details here are limited, but police think the shooting came out of some type of argument earlier in the night. Police say there is no threat to the public.
Breaking news from overnight, there's a silver alert out for a missing man from Taylorsville. Charles Randy Newman is 73 years old, a white man. He stands 5'10", weighing 330 pounds. He's mostly bald, some white hair and blue eyes. Newman has special needs with some kidney issues, has a colostomy bag. He drives a black Ford Taurus 2017. License plate is a Utah plate, V63OSK. Charles last seen Sunday around 7 p.m. near 65th South Huntington Road, right by the Taylorsville Rec Center. If you have any information on Newman, please don't hesitate to call police at the number on your screen.
And this morning, we're now hearing from family and friends of Aaron Lowe, the University of Utah football player shot and killed at a house party over the weekend. Raisha Smith went to high school with Lowe in Louisiana before Lowe then transferred to a school in Texas. She says Lowe had a big impact on her life. She says his motivation to play in the NFL translated into everything he did and ultimately got him to the University of Utah.
I remember him being happy, just the happiest he could be that he made it. Knowing that he made it that far in life and just to have his life took it from him.
Now, meanwhile, Lowe's brother Adron says he feels like he lost a part of himself when Lowe died. They're triplets. They've stayed close despite Aaron moving to Utah for college.
Every chance that I got to call him, I would call him, before a game, I would call him, talk to him, wish him luck on his game.
Now, while Lowe's brother continues to grieve, he hopes whoever shot and killed his brother is found and charged.
And we're learning more about the police response to that shooting that killed Aaron Lowe. Salt Lake police say they got at least 6 noise complaint calls related to that Sugar House party. It wasn't until they received a call about an altercation involving a gun at that party that they responded. They say they used to have dedicated patrol officers for noise complaints, but even when that was active, the group was always under backlog.
Our number one focus right now, and it has always been, on the priority for those in-progress emergencies. And so our officers, when they are aware of a noise complaint, it is dispatched out, they are told about it, and as they can respond to those noise complaints, they do.
Police say they are understaffed. Salt Lake's department has more than 50 open positions as of September 13th. They say at the time of those noise complaints, police were responding to, quote, higher priority calls. ABC4 News is there for you. Stick with us for the latest developments and continuing coverage of Aaron Lowe. We've got updates here on air and always online at abc4.com.
Well, the time is 6:04. Let's get a first check of your weather on the 4s this hour with meteorologist Thomas Gieboy. I hear the weather is changing, Thomas.
Yeah, we're going to see some pretty big changes by this afternoon. For this morning, though, things are very calm and very consistent compared to what we saw this time yesterday, where it's a mild start to the morning for most, but we are beginning to see a little bit of cloud coverage. It's also going to be a little bit breezier. There's still some times of patchy smoke, and the current view from St. George, it's looking lovely out there. We still got a little while before we get to sunrise, but again, changes, they are on the way. We're seeing a little bit more cloud coverage moving into the western part of the state. There's a cold front that's about to be knocking on our door. And that cold front's what's going to be moving through today. Meanwhile, in the southeastern corner of the state, you got a couple of showers as that low pressure that we were talking about yesterday is now working its way through Colorado. But that cold front, it's going to be very apparent by the time we get towards this afternoon. Not very apparent right now, with the temperature sitting at 71 degrees in Salt Lake City, 47 degrees in Logan. So you might want a sweater as you're heading out the door there, but that's relatively mild, especially compared to this time last week. 69 degrees in St. George, 65 degrees in Lake Powell, and it's 61 degrees in Milford. But when we look at the daytime highs today, those temperatures, at least along the Wasatch Front, are not going to be moving much at all. In fact, we could see cooling temperatures this afternoon with the daytime high of 70 degrees in Salt Lake City, windy, isolated thunderstorms, and in St. George, going to see some patchy smoke, and there will also be that chance for some wet weather as well. The best chance of rain today will come along and east of the I-15 corridor, so not everybody will find wet weather, but there will be at least that chance. With your traffic, there are still no accidents out there to report early on this Tuesday morning, so traffic seems to be flowing along very well across the area. And if you're going from Salt Lake City to Tooele, it's between a 32 and 34-minute drive. Safe travels. Over to you, Brian.
All right, thank you, Thomas. Covering the coronavirus, COVID booster shots are now rolling out across the country to the elderly and certain high-risk Americans. President Joe Biden and the First Lady got their booster shot. They're now pleading with millions of unvaccinated Americans to get their first doses of the shot. Meanwhile, the CDC is assuring those who are vaccinated who just haven't got boosters yet, you're still protected against the virus.
There is no urgency here to go and get your booster immediately. You know, walk, don't run to your booster appointment, and we will come and get look at the data for Moderna and J&J in very short order.
Now, in the meantime, in the next few days, Pfizer plans to submit its trial data for its COVID-19 vaccine to kids ages 5 to 11. Authorization for kids' doses could come by the end of October.
3 pharmaceutical companies are now racing to create a COVID-19 medication to speed up an infected person's recovery. It would work as an antiviral medication. While trials are still ongoing, not clear so far if or when one of these will be approved. If one does get approval, doctors say the pill could stop the virus from progressing if infection is caught early on.
Production of virus, we can prevent the damage, prevent the immune over-response, and block the symptoms.
If this pill does get approval, it would be the first of its kind. Doctors say a vaccine still, though, the best prevention measure.
Now, you can now get COVID-19 booster shots in St. George. The local health department says the booster shots are free for people 65 and older and adults with certain health conditions. Those eligible who want to get a booster shot are asked to make an appointment. Slots are open tomorrow and Thursday.
The demand is not overwhelming, which in one way is good. We want to be able to accommodate all the people we have. I think we've got about 1,500 doses of Pfizer vaccine available this week.
Now, health officials are also doing flu shots at the same location. The address is there on your screen. It's recommended you make an appointment here as well, either online or call ahead so you don't overwhelm the health department.
In politics, Senate Republicans have blocked a Democratic measure aimed at averting a possible government shutdown and raising the federal debt limit. The measure that failed last night would have extended federal funding at their current levels through early December. The move leaving Congress with just days to put together a government funding bill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell sounding off.
The only reason this is even a possibility is because Republicans are making this a possibility by preventing the government from paying its bills.
There's no chance Republicans will help lift Democrats' credit limit so they can immediately steamroll through a socialist binge that will hurt families and help China.
The rejected bill would have provided emergency disaster relief funds for Hurricane Ida and for Afghan refugees in the aftermath of the war.
A new report shows a number of Utah kids still struggle with suicidal thoughts. A report by mental health group Safe UT shows 21% of Utah students had thoughts of suicide. In fact, during the last school year, Safe UT made nearly 300 life-saving interventions. They tell ABC4 News as COVID-19 spikes, their staff gets more calls for emergencies. They believe COVID is adding to students having a mental health crisis.
In general, help seeking tends to lean more towards females. However, a lot of the suicide deaths in Utah are with males.
Now, suicide, bullying, depression, feeling like you're in crisis, and mental health issues top the reasons kids are reaching out to the Safe UT app. It's available 24/7 for students. The time now is 5:10. Coming up here on GMU, an accused Sandy gunman has now been charged. Find out how many felonies he now faces. And the latest movie and TV show reviews. Of course, stay tuned for what your next movie night may consist of. And don't forget, staying informed, never easier. ABC4 News is there for you. Get your news on the go. Just download the ABC4 News app. All you do is scan the QR code on your screen.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
Let's check your weather here with meteorologist Thomas Gieboy. You know, Thomas, we're off to a calm start this morning.
Very calm this morning and very mild, very similar to what we saw yesterday morning. But as we go through today, changes, they're on the way. Cold front will be moving through. There will be times of patchy smoke, but with the front, we'll also get a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, it's going to be chilly. Sweater weather for most, and in the higher elevations, probably going to need a jacket. In the meantime, here's the view from Deer Valley early this morning. Got a little extra cloud coverage out there, and we're still a while away from sunrise, but it's still a very pretty view here on this early Tuesday morning. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. We are seeing a few more clouds moving in from the west, and this is ahead of a cold front that is now knocking on our doorstep. Meanwhile, in the southeastern corner of the state in parts of San Juan County and Grand County, got a couple of light showers as the low pressure that we were talking about yesterday now moving off to the northeast. But the main emphasis today is going to be that cold front that you see off to our northwest. So we'll begin the futurecast 7 o'clock this morning, and as we go throughout the morning, as that front moves in, a few isolated showers can't be completely ruled out, but the rain chance will really begin to pick up as we move into this afternoon. The best chance for rain today looks like it's going to be along and east of I-15 and along and south of the I-80 corridor. And you'll kind of see that here on the Futurecast 3 o'clock this afternoon as the front is going to be working its way past the Wasatch Front. Winds will be switching out of the north behind it, and temperatures likely going to be cooling through the afternoon for those spots that have seen the cold front move through. Then into tonight, even as the cold front continues to move down to the southeast, showers and thunderstorms will continue to be a possibility through tonight, and those highest elevations could also see a little bit of snow as well. But for most, if we do find wet weather, it's mainly going to come in the form of rain. Well, there'll still be some lingering moisture into tomorrow morning, so we'll keep a slight chance for showers along and east of the Wasatch Front. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning as that moisture continues to finally move away, and then we'll be looking at predominantly dry conditions with the exception of the eastern half of the state by tomorrow afternoon. But for today, with that potential for some wet weather, if you're heading to our national parks, just make sure you're keeping tabs of the weather, as there will be the probability for flash flooding at Arches and Canyonlands. Meanwhile, several other parks will at least have that possibility. Now let's talk temperatures, because we have that front moving through, and again, not everybody will find wet weather, but that potential is out there. But everybody will get it on some cooler temperatures, where 2 o'clock this afternoon, a temperature could be around 67 in Salt Lake City. Meanwhile, in St. George, temperatures will be more so in the middle 80s. Then into tonight, with everyone seeing those winds switching out of the north, those temperatures will fall quickly. And by daybreak tomorrow morning, we could be talking about temperatures of 45 degrees in Salt Lake City, and in those higher elevations could see some freezing temperatures before we eventually see those temperatures only rebound to around 60 degrees tomorrow afternoon in Salt Lake City. For St. George, though, a daytime high of 85 degrees, isolated thunderstorms with a chance early tomorrow, and the daytime high for our Wednesday, 79. That is a very big change. Along the Wasatch Front, temperatures will be in the upper 60s to around 70. Isolated thunderstorms today, also going to be windy. We'll keep a slight chance early for your Wednesday, but tomorrow we'll start off definitely on the chilly side with a daytime high of 60 degrees as our skies gradually clear. And then it's mostly sunny skies with moderating temperatures for the rest of the week. Should be beautiful by the time we get into this upcoming weekend with daytime highs in the middle 70s. As we check your traffic, not much going wrong this morning. No accidents out there to report early on this Tuesday morning, and your drive times are looking great. Salt Lake City to Ogden, it's a 30-minute drive in both directions. With all of our changes coming up in the next 24 hours, make sure you download the Pinpoint Weather App. It's a great thing to have on the go. You can go to the App Store or Google Play, or scan the QR code right there on your screen.
Thank you, Thomas. COVID comedy, sci-fi, cop drama, you've got options for what to watch tonight. Our film critic Tony Toscano has the reviews.
Good morning. Returning for its 4th season on ABC is the cop drama The Rookie. It stars Nathan Fillion and Richard T. Jones.
I don't like you, Officer Nolan. I hate what you represent. A walking midlife crisis. And that will get my people killed.
After a life-altering incident, John Nolan is pursuing his dream of joining the LAPD. As their oldest rookie, he's met with skepticism from those who see him as just a walking midlife crisis. I chatted with Richard T. Jones about the series.
Nathan, like you said, has so much energy and so much passion. And he just loves, because we love one another so much on the show, he just loves being there. And he just so... I think we can go on until everybody gets tired.
Each week, The Rookie offers up a nicely woven blend of humor and drama, backed up by solid performances by the cast. Again, The Rookie is airing on ABC TV, and Season 4 kicks off October 16th. It gets a B and is rated TV-14. In theaters, a pair of sisters take off to save Grandma in the COVID comedy Stop and Go. It stars Mallory Everton and Whitney Call.
Hello, is this Willowbrook Senior Care?
Is this the police? Are you coming?
Our grandmother is a resident at your facility and...
Maybe not anymore.
Can we speak to whoever's in charge?
COVID-19 is in charge now.
We ask ourselves, what can we make right now and actually do with a limited crew, with limited funds, and just kind of stay in here. So we came up with a road trip movie because we naively thought making a movie in a car would be easy.
We shot it in Whitney's car. And whenever I get back in that car, I always remember, I just get transported right back to that headspace of it's the pandemic and we're making a movie and we have no idea if someone's going to get sick and whether we're going to finish this thing or not. And we're stuck here all the time in this hot car because you can't turn on the AC because then it messes up the sound. I mean, it's brutal.
Filmed in the middle of the pandemic, Stop and Go is a hectic and fast-moving comedy with a few good laughs and a good sense of humor about America during the time of COVID. Again, Stop and Go is in selected theaters and gets a B. It's not rated. Hitting Apple TV Plus is the long-awaited TV adaptation of Isaac Asimov's sci-fi masterpiece, Foundation.
When I was a child at the edge of the galaxy, I heard stories about a man who could forecast the future. But the story remained dark to me until many years later, until it became my story.
Some 2,000 years in the future, mankind is now a part of a galactic empire that is slowly but deliberately coming apart. The series stars Jared Harris. David S. Goyer took this book and made it palatable for the TV audience.
Sure. Yeah, he's very good at that. He's very, very, very good at world building. He's brilliant at, he's with big ideas, and big swings. He takes some swings at some huge themes, yes, and that he's done that brilliantly.
If you're looking for a word-for-word adaptation of Asimov's classic work, you won't find it here. What you will find is a well-done attempt to take Asimov's 7-book collection and translate them into a watchable TV series. But like a heavy meal, there's a lot to chew. Overall, the first 10 episodes do improve if you stick with it. Again, Foundation is streaming exclusively on Apple TV Plus and gets a B. It's rated TV-14. For ABC4, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
All right, thank you, Tony. To see the rest of Tony's reviews, just visit his new website, screenchatter.com.
6:20 right now. Coming up on Good Morning Utah, Facebook putting the brakes on their apps for kids, who they're developing for, why the experts want them to stop. And a new fire burning in northern Utah, how much land it's burned. As we head to break, here's a look outside our AltaCam. Look at that, an early sunrise, some stars still in that blue sky. Beautiful. Here's what's coming up on Good Morning America.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, Robin's exclusive interview with former President Obama on everything from what's happening in Washington right now to the border, as he gets ready to break ground on his presidential center on the south side of Chicago. You'll see that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
Good morning, Utah. The time is currently 6:24 here on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start off with a beautiful view from Park City on top Park City Mountain, where it's still a while away from sunrise this morning, but that doesn't mean we can find a little bit of cloud coverage, those twinkling stars, and then of course the fall colors. It is a beautiful view. It doesn't really feel too much like fall out there right now, but if you wait 12 to 24 hours, It will, and that's because a cold front's on the way from the northwest. We do have a bit of cloud coverage that's moving in from the west, and we could see a few of these clouds produce maybe an isolated shower or two as this cold front moves in from the northwest. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of small showers in the northern half of San Juan County as a low pressure continues to spin off just to our east. But the main emphasis today is going to be that cold front. And you'll kind of see that here reflected on the hourly forecast in Salt Lake City. Right now it's 71 degrees. By 10 o'clock this morning, temperatures are likely going to be in the middle 60s, so definitely a little bit cooler. Isolated showers a possibility from this morning into the afternoon, and then we'll have a chance for a few thunderstorms this afternoon. But it's also going to be windy with those temperatures kind of cooling down through the afternoon, and it could be breezy at times. We could see some wind gusts today along the Wasatch Front, upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. So once that cooler air starts to move in, it's going to start to move in a hurry. So something to keep in mind. By this evening, you're probably going to want at least a sweater along the Wasatch Front. But when we check the traffic across Metro Salt Lake City, we're looking great out there this morning. Haven't seen any accidents to report out there, so everybody seems like they're driving quite nicely this morning. And your drive times from Provo to Salt Lake City, it's a 36-minute drive in both directions. Safe travels.
I will do. Thank you, Thomas. In Sandy, a man is now charged with 7 felonies, accused of shooting a police officer in the face. 51-year-old Sean De Jesus Dara is accused of shooting at police who recently served a search warrant at his apartment. A police sergeant got shot in the cheek and then in the arm, and that sergeant survived. Dara is now charged with several serious gun and drug crimes.
In southern Utah, a man is facing first-degree murder charges in Minorsville. According to the St. George News, officers responded to a shooting early Sunday morning and found a man with a gunshot wound unconscious in a garage. That man died at the hospital. Police say witnesses helped them find the shooter, 25-year-old Mike Allen Mile. Mile says he shot the man in self-defense. Mile currently in jail facing potential murder charges.
And a part of I-15 just reopened this morning in Cedar City. However, it is closing down again tonight. You can see the area here on your screen between 2nd North and Main Street. Construction crews are doing bridge work. So the freeway through this area will close again tonight starting at 9 p.m. and won't reopen until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Fire season is not over yet. In your fire tracker this morning, crews are battling a new burn in northern Utah. The Stewart Lake fire is burning in Uinta County. Crews say that fire initially threatened structures, but the danger is minimal. Now it's burned 300 acres so far, and there's no word yet on containment. Facebook is pausing the development of its kids' Instagram app. That platform would be for kids under the age of 13. The head of Instagram now saying the company needs more time to develop the project. They plan to talk with parents, experts, and policymakers to hear their concerns for younger teens.
6:27 at the time, still ahead here on GMU. Remembering Utah football player shot and killed. We talked to his family and friends about how they're remembering his life. Plus, it is Banned Books Week. Learn the significance of the impact it has on censorship in our current libraries. As we head to the break, here's a live look outside. This is from our Deer Valley camera this morning. Still an early start to your Tuesday. More GMU coming up right after this.
Live, we're there for you. Good Morning Utah at 6:30 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Sarah Martin.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time is 6:29 on this Tuesday. We have breaking news from overnight where police are trying to figure out what happened to a woman in South Jordan who got shot and then crashed her car. Police got calls about gunshots last night near 104 South and 22nd West. Then they heard about a car crash in the same area. So they arrived at the crash and found a woman who'd been shot twice. She was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police think the shooting led to her crashing into another car. 2 people in that car did walk away with no injuries. Right now, police are also looking for a third car that may belong to the shooter.
Units were here within about 4 minutes, and unfortunately we weren't able to locate a shooter vehicle. We still haven't been able to talk to our victim directly, so we're hoping to get that information.
Now, details here are limited, but police think the shooting came out of some type of argument earlier in the night. Police say there is no threat to the public.
And also breaking overnight, there's a silver alert out for a missing man from Taylorsville. Charles Randy Newman, 73-year-old white man. He stands about 5'10", weighs 330 pounds. Mostly bald, some white hair and blue eyes. Newman has special needs with some kidney issues. He does use a colostomy bag. He drives a black Ford Taurus 2017 with a Utah license plate V63OSK. Charles was last seen Sunday at about 7 o'clock p.m. near 65th South Huntington Road by the Taylorsville Rec Center. If you have any information on Newman, please don't hesitate to call police at the number on your screen.
And this morning, we're now hearing from family and friends of Aaron Lowe, the University of Utah football player shot and killed at a house party over the weekend. Rasha Smith, she went to high school with Lowe in Louisiana before Lowe transferred to a school in Texas. She says Lowe had a big impact on her life. She says his motivation to play in the NFL translated into everything he did and ultimately got him to the University of Utah.
I remember him being happy, just the happiest he could be that he made it. Knowing that he made it that far in life and just to have his life took it from him.
Now, meanwhile, Lowe's brother, Hadron, says he feels like he lost a part of himself when Lowe died. They're triplets. They've stayed close despite Aaron moving to Utah for college.
Every chance that I got to call him, I would call him, before a game, I would call him, talk to him, wish him luck on his game.
Now, while Lowe's brother continues to grieve, he hopes whoever shot and killed his brother is found and charged.
And we're learning more about the police response to the shooting that killed Aaron Lowe. Salt Lake police say they got at least 6 noise complaint calls related to that Sugar House party. It wasn't until they got a call about an altercation involving a gun that they responded. They say they used to have dedicated patrol officers for noise complaints, but even when active, that group was always under backlog.
Our number one focus right now, and it has always been, on the priority for those in-progress emergencies. And so our officers, when they are aware of a noise complaint, it is dispatched out, they are told about it, and as they can respond to those noise complaints, they do.
Police say they are understaffed. Salt Lake's department has more than 50 open positions as of September 13th. They say at the time of those noise complaints, police are responding to, quote, higher priority calls. ABC4 News there for you on this story. Stick with us for the latest developments. We've got them right here on air and always online at abc4.com.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
We're getting close to 6:34 right now. Checking on our weather with meteorologist Thomas Gieboy. Thomas, big changes in the works for this Tuesday.
Yeah, and those big changes will really be felt this afternoon. For this morning, it's very similar to what we saw yesterday morning. Pretty mild temperatures and fairly clear conditions. However, we're still dealing with more times of patchy smoke, and you can actually tell there's a little bit of haze from the top of Lake Mountain. But that's just a beautiful view for this early Tuesday morning. So here's a look at the satellite and radar. There's a cold front sitting off just to our northwest. Got a little bit of cloud coverage moving into the western half of the state. Ahead of that front, a few isolated showers will be a possibility, but the chance for showers and thunderstorms will actually be picking up from this afternoon into this evening for those along the Wasatch Front. But I'm thinking the best chance of rain today is going to be along and east of I-15 and then along and south of I-80. So not everybody will get wet weather for today, but that potential is out there. And there's also a little bit of light rain in the northern half of San Juan County. But with this front moving through, this should help out the smoke a little bit. Those smoke concentrations still likely going to be high, at least through the first half of the day today. Then as we go into tomorrow, should get a little bit of a reprieve. But with a northerly flow, that actually could bring in a little bit more smoke that's currently sitting in Idaho. So that's something that we'll be watching out for. But the air quality expected to be moderate as we make our way through today. But here's a look at the temperatures as you're heading out the door right now. We're at 71 degrees in Salt Lake City. So it's pretty mild outside. In fact, the average high for this time of year is 75. So we're very close to that. However, that 71 is misleading because we won't see the temperature move much at all as we go to this afternoon. In fact, the temperature might actually be cooling. 57 degrees in Provo, 66 degrees in Green River, 54 degrees in Blanding, and it's 69 degrees in St. George. And here's a little bit better perspective on that. Your forecast for today in Salt Lake City, a daytime high of 70 degrees, but through most of the afternoon, those temperatures might only be in the middle to upper 60s. Windy, isolated thunderstorms and northwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour, maybe the occasional wind gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour. Then in St. George, a temperature of 85 this afternoon, so also cooler than what we found yesterday. Patchy smoke, and there will also be at least a chance of wet weather down in St. George, but again, that best chance of rain looks like it's going to be a little bit in the higher elevations up towards Cedar City. But with your traffic, no accidents out there to report early this morning. So far this morning, it's been fantastic in that way, where there haven't been any accidents to report. So if you're traveling on 215, 15, 84, or 80, you're looking good. And your drive times from Park City to Salt Lake City, it's about a 30 to 32-minute drive in both directions. Safe travels.
This week, America celebrates its freedom to read. It's Banned Books Week, which looks at our country's attempts, past and present, to censor books in libraries and schools. Now, understanding book censorship is something that local libraries feel strongly about. Some say it's an expression of our free speech and can threaten and divide our society. Here to share more about Banned Books Week and what it means for our freedom of speech is service librarian Wanda Mae Huffaker here with the Salt Lake County Library. Wanda Mae, thanks for being with us here this morning.
It's my very big privilege to talk about this. I love it.
Well, of course, you deal with a lot of books over the course of your career. How many controversial books have been banned? What are some of the examples of those controversial books?
Well, most of them end up being controversial because people call them that, because they try to get rid of them.
So what's one you can think of that is one of those books that was banned or people had tried to ban?
Luckily, I have this very nice poster next to me for the top 10 this year.
Right?
It is
it
a
even
cheat
looks like one of those cheat sheets you get back
exactly.
in high school right there. Okay. So I can see a couple of them that I recognize right here.
So yeah, every year, the Office of Intellectual Freedom from American Library Association compiles all the challenges, and they list the top 10 from throughout the country.
The most controversial?
The most challenged. So they compile
books that people want to ban.
Yes.
I see.
See, we don't actually really ban. Most books are not banned, truly. A challenge is when someone asks us to get rid of it.
I see.
When they actually get rid of it, it's banned.
I see. So what's an example of one of those?
That has been challenged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And these are the ones that were the most last year. And every year they release the top 10.
Sure.
And this is the top 10.
So for people at home, they can't see this sheet
They
too well.
cannot. And the number one last year was George. And I was just realizing To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's one I recognize, yes.
Of Mice and Men and
Very
The Bluest
popular.
Eye. Those three have been on it for like 30 years, off and on.
What's the issue with banning these books? Or trying to ban these books?
The issue is that you are taking the rights away from someone else who might want to. So someone asks us to get rid of To Kill a Mockingbird. And they say, I don't like that book in the library. I want you to get rid of that book. It offends me. So I want you to get rid of that book. And the problem with it is that you are taking the rights away from someone else who wants that book. Mm-hmm. If we were to pull that out of the library, and you came in the library and said, I want that book, and we got rid of it because your coworker came in and said, I don't want it, and you did want it, that's your right. That's infringed on your right.
So you feel that's kind of where the issue lies. But what about critics who say that you have some of these books have content not suitable for children in places like schools?
Then don't let your child read it. It's not a hard problem to solve. And who determines what's suitable for children? Because maybe it's suitable for my child, but not suitable for your child. And who determines what's suitable? That's another issue.
So with Banned Books Week right here, obviously this topic is definitely one that has been, over the course of American history, something that continues to we face year after year. What happens during this week where the library and other organizations like yours look at Banned Books Week? What happens there?
Well, what we do, and the reason that it started, is to call attention to attempts to do this, to call attention to the fact that this happens, and to call attention to our freedom to read. The reason that most books really are not actually banned or pulled from libraries is because librarians, woo, that's me, teachers, and actually people in the community, because it takes all of us, put a lot of effort into making sure they are not. You know, there are efforts from people. Sometimes, you know, a parent comes in and doesn't want the book there, but other people do want it there, and they put efforts into making sure they are. And so this is the week of the year, this great week when we call attention to what has happened or what happens.
And to educate people a bit.
Exactly.
And if people want to learn more about what happens during Banned Books Week, where do they go online to find that information?
Our libraries put
great.
a lot of work into displays, into information education. A lot of libraries you can come in and get a great bookmark or something and learn about it. You can all year, but this is when we put a lot of effort into education.
And of course we have a link to those links on our website, abc4.com. We're back with more information right after this. Wanda May, thanks for being with us this morning talking about
You're
this
welcome.
issue.
Anytime.
More GMU after this.
Utah's most accurate forecast, here's a Pinpoint Weather Update.
The time is 6:44. Let's check your weather on the fours with meteorologist Thomas Giebe. What are you seeing out there, Thomas?
Well, this morning we're starting off mild. It's a pretty comfortable start to this Tuesday morning, but big changes. They're on the way. That's going to be in the form of a cold front. Ahead of that cold front, we're going to see more times of patchy smoke. The air quality looking to be moderate, so the air quality not going to be the best as we go through today. But that front will also bring the potential for isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly along and east of I-15 and then along and south of I-80. We'll have the futurecast for you coming up in just a moment. And then after we move past this afternoon into tonight, it's going to turn chilly, and you're going to want at least a sweater, and in those highest elevations, you're going to want a jacket. It's going to turn cold tonight. But here's the current view from Antelope Island. Got a little bit of cloud coverage out there this morning. You can actually see a twinkling star off in the distance as well. But we continue to see clouds moving in from the northwest ahead of the cold front that'll be arriving later this morning. That'll be moving across the Beehive State from this morning into the afternoon. Meanwhile, in the southeastern corner of the state, we got a couple of light showers basically between Moab and Blanding this morning as we're still watching that low pressures moving through Colorado that we were talking about yesterday. That was in Arizona and New Mexico. So that will continue to move off to the northeast. But the main focus for today is going to be that cold front. So let's start the futurecast at 7 o'clock this morning. And as we go from this morning into around midday, we'll see maybe a few isolated showers ahead of the front. But the rain chance will start to pick up as we move into this afternoon. And like I mentioned, the best chance of rain today looks like it's going to be east of I-15 and south of I-80, but even west of I-15, there will still be at least a slight chance for a few isolated showers. This is today at 4 o'clock with those scattered showers and thunderstorms, and the best chance of rain, at least for the Wasatch Front, looks like it's going to be arriving as we move into tonight. This is showing that 11 o'clock where we could see a line of showers developing behind the front as we see another piece of energy moving in from our west. But you notice in those highest elevations, we also could see maybe a little bit of snow. That's going to be a possibility. And then as we move into tomorrow, that moisture starts to move away to the east, maybe just enough moisture left behind where we could still see a few showers along the I-15 corridor, but most of the rain by tomorrow afternoon is going to be east of I-15 with a chance for snow continuing in those highest elevations. Will continue to dry out as we go throughout the day into your Wednesday. But temperature-wise, again, it's mild outside right now. The temperature right now in Salt Lake City, 71. By 3 o'clock this afternoon, it might be 66 with a strong north breeze. And even for those of you down in St. George, the temperature will be 85 degrees. Then into tonight, it turns chilly quickly with an overnight low of around 45 degrees in Salt Lake City, 35 degrees in Logan. And as you travel in the higher elevations, could see those freezing temperatures and maybe even a hard freeze as we go into tonight. Then tomorrow, temperatures only rebounding to around the 60-degree mark in Salt Lake City with a temperature of around 79 degrees in St. George. So that cold front, it definitely will be cooling things off in a big way. In St. George, isolated thunderstorms today, a chance early tomorrow, but those temperatures will begin to moderate for the second half of the week with a mostly sunny sky. Along the Wasatch Front, isolated thunderstorms possible today, scattered showers tonight, a chance early for our Wednesday. But tonight we'll see those temperatures in the middle 40s with a daytime high tomorrow of around 60 degrees. So it will be definitely feeling like fall after we felt like summer yesterday. As we check your traffic, we got a couple of new accidents out there. These are the first accidents that we've really seen this morning. We'll get you that information coming up in just a bit. But your drive times from Salt Lake City to Ogden still looking great, between 31 and 32 minutes. If you want to make sure that you stay up to date with the weather and also on your traffic as we go throughout the rest of this morning, just tune into the Utah CW30 at 7 a.m. We'll have full details coming up then as well.
The University of Utah is reeling from the shooting death of a second football player in less than a year. Aaron Lowe was killed at a house party in Sugar House this weekend, and police aren't sure yet who's responsible. The university has made mental health resources available to students and athletes on campus. And here with me to talk about what resources are available, Dr. Laura Weitzman, director of the University of Utah Counseling Center. Dr. Weitzman, thanks so much for being here this morning. Really vital topic in these hard times.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Can we start with what resources are available? What's the process like for a student who is seeking some mental health help?
Yes, we are fortunate on our campus to have several options for students. So within the Department of Athletics, their psychological and wellness services have been working most closely with our student athletes. They have met with all of the teams. They are providing drop-in support meetings and certainly working with individual students who are affected. The University Counseling Center is kind of the main hub for all students at the University of Utah. and we provide a variety of services as well. In situations such as these, we certainly have our crisis counselors available to meet with negatively affected students during our business hours, which are Monday through Thursday, 8 to 6, and Fridays, 8 to 5. We are also working with our campus partners to provide support as needed, and that will happen, within the residence halls and our other groups like the Center for Student Equity and Belonging. We have a dynamite crisis team that works with students who are living in the residence halls. It's called Mental Health First Responders, or MH1. They're also available for after-hours support. So we've got a really important network for our students, and one of our primary messages at very tragic times like this is to, just be sure that students know that there is a range of different ways they can be impacted. There are lots of normal reactions to an abnormal event such as this, and we want to make sure that students just have the places to come together and support each other and get support for themselves.
Got it. It sounds like you're just being really proactive and making sure that the counselors are going to the students, not just the other way around, students, into the center. Unfortunately, not the first time this year a Ute football player has passed away. 9 months ago, Ty Jordan also shot. So I'm sure that your counselors, unfortunately have this kind of experience, and I'm wondering how you're responding to and kind of learning from these experiences to improve services moving forward.
Yes, and as you mentioned that, absolutely, there's just so many layers of trauma and tragedy. Unfortunately, we do have that experience. And I think, again, we look to the individual student and we want to support them in whatever it is that they're experiencing. Especially students who might have been connected to the earlier deaths on our campus, and going through multiple traumas, can have more of an impact in ways that students don't always recognize.
Dr. Weitzman, we've only got less than a minute left, but I really want to go over for parents who might be watching, what are kind of some signals, maybe red flags people can watch out for in themselves, maybe in a loved one that might signal they need to reach out to a professional?
Yes, absolutely. One way to think about it is any major changes in behavior are certainly cause for concern. As I said before, there's a range of emotions that people will be experiencing. Sometimes people don't feel anything at all, and it's kind of feeling more shut down or withdrawn or numb. It can certainly be difficult to concentrate and kind of make everyday life decisions. So anytime that those kinds of symptoms interfere with regular functioning, that's certainly cause for concern. But again, the recognition that there is going to be some interference, and just having some time and space for healing, for connecting with others. It's always a good time to remember to try to get regular sleep, regular exercise, and certainly be talking with others to get the support from friends and family and other loved ones.
We're speaking this morning with Dr. Lauren Weitzman, Director of the University of Utah Counseling Center. Dr. Weitzman, thank you so much for your time. We'll make sure to link all of those applicable resources to the Counseling Center on our website, abc4.com/GMU. Thanks so much, Dr. Weitzman.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Moving on to your business news this morning, Ford is making a big investment in American-made electric cars, and power problems in China forcing factories to cut back. Here's your Good Morning Utah business report.
Mixed day for the markets, with tech and healthcare stocks weighing traders down. The S&P closed the first day of the week off 0.3%. The Nasdaq lost 0.5%, while the Dow managed to close up 0.2%. And power problems in China are threatening to send yet another wrinkle into already strained supply chains. Local Chinese officials have forced factories in several provinces to cut back on hours or shut down completely in an effort to pull back on power use. The Wall Street Journal says in other places, factories are cutting production after a spike in coal prices. Plus, Ford is making its biggest investment ever. It plans to spend $7 billion on 4 new factories in Tennessee and Kentucky. 3 will make batteries for electric cars. The 4th will roll out electric pickup trucks. And finally, the migration sparked by the coronavirus pandemic showing no signs of slowing. A new survey from real estate consultant Knight Frank shows a quarter of those responding in North America have moved since last spring. And around the world, 20% say they plan to move soon. And that's your Good Morning Utah business report.
And covering the coronavirus, COVID booster shots are now rolling out across the country to the elderly and certain high-risk Americans. President Joe Biden and the First Lady got their booster shot. They're now pleading with the millions of unvaccinated Americans to get their first dose of the shot. Meanwhile, the CDC is assuring those who are vaccinated who haven't got their boosters yet, you are still protected against the virus.
There is no urgency here to go and get your booster immediately. You know, walk, don't run to your booster appointment, and we will come and get look at the data for Moderna and J&J in very short order.
Now, and new this morning, we've learned that Pfizer has submitted its trial data for its vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. Reuters reports the drug maker will make a formal request for emergency use for their vaccine for kids in the coming weeks.
As you get your COVID shots, your flu shots as the weather changes, you're going to have to roll up those sweater sleeves pretty far.
Yeah, pretty soon, because pretty soon it's going to be sweater weather. But, of course, this time of the morning.
You're keying in on that. I could see the wheels turning right there.
Yeah.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather. Because, I mean,
I can't let myself do it. I just won't stop.
Yeah, you just have, I mean, every time I say it, I mean, it's just in your head. But this time of the morning, we always like to show photos. So we're going to do it some more. And this is the view from Lake Point yesterday, sent in by Ed Newman. Just the beautiful fall colors there. Then Brian Whitelair that sent this in from Lambs Canyon. And that's just beautiful. You got the mixtures of the yellows, pinks, greens. It's just a beautiful view, and some oranges as well. Judy Keel sent this in from Kanab yesterday because we did see a little bit of shower activity in the southern half of the state. And the northern half of the state, we had more patchy smoke at sunset. But that created a very nice view in Roy. This was sent in by Keith Fought, and thank you to everybody that sent your photos. You can always do so on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or you can just email us as well. We'll be more than happy to try to get your photo on air. Here's the current view from St. George. We're waiting what's going to be a beautiful sunrise, but we are going to be seeing some big changes as we go through today. Cold front approaching from our northwest. Right now it's still on the mild side, 71 degrees in Salt Lake City, 69 degrees in St. George. But for this afternoon, right now, again, it's 71 degrees, the daytime high, 70 degrees, because we'll probably see those temperatures falling through the 60s during the afternoon. There'll be the chance for isolated thunderstorms, and in St. George, a daytime high of 85 degrees. Big changes. Then tonight, we'll see temperatures in the 40s in Salt Lake City. As we check your traffic, there are a couple of accidents out there. One of those is on I-15, but traffic still seems to be flowing along rather nicely this morning, so your drive time's still looking good. If you want to take your weather with you on the go today, especially with all the changes coming up, just download the Pinpoint Weather App. Go to the App Store, Google Play, or scan the QR code on your screen right there.
All right, it's baby birthday time. We have celebrity birthday today.
Oh.
Singer Hilary Duff's birthday.
Yes.
Now, what's one of those songs that Hilary Duff sings?
This is my dreams.
Oh.
That's from the Hilary Duff movie.
Well, that's from the movie.
I just lied. It's
Duff.
from the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, clearly. I had no idea you were a fan this
where
morning.
Lizzie plays her own body double. Fantastic. I just gave away the ending, but
Oh,
it's
man.
great.
How will we ever know what's going on with the movie?
Might as well be Throwback Tuesday instead of Throwback Thursday.
Yep, exactly.
She turns 34 anyway.
Happy birthday to her.
More importantly, if it's your birthday today, help us celebrate. We want to get those photos for your birthday so we can talk about you on the air. Email them to news@abc4.com.
We'll be back tomorrow.